If you missed the Arbitrum airdrop, where people made between $600 and $50,000 plus, then this video is for you. Because today, I am going to be revealing 5 crypto airdrops that could potentially be the next Arbitrum, and I'm going to give you the steps to put yourself in the best possible position to receive an airdrop. In my opinion, airdrop farming is one of the best risk-reward activities that you can do in crypto. This is because the market is so competitive and there are new projects launching all the time. These projects are fighting for new users and thus offer token incentives for you to use their products. That means you end up benefiting because you can earn money just for using their product. Look at the people that used Aptos. All they did was sign up for a testnet and they got thousands of dollars airdropped to their wallets. And also look at Arbitrum. People made thousands of dollars just for using the network. So especially if you don't have that much money to invest and you really struggle to execute trades consistently, then I think a better approach is actually to spend more time on chain using these newer ecosystems and of course putting yourself in good positions to get airdrops. So without further ado, let's get straight into it. The first one is LayerZero. I think of LayerZero as the ultimate interoperability layer for crypto. They're building an ecosystem which will essentially allow you to bridge assets across multiple chains with a seamless experience. The LayerZero ecosystem is already vast. As you can see on your screen in front of you, we have multiple bridges, DeFi applications, NFTs, infrastructure, DEXs, and launchpads already live in the LayerZero ecosystem. They are also one of the most heavily backed projects in crypto, coming in with a $1 billion valuation. Now, for airdrop hunters, identifying the projects that have the biggest backing is a very important prerequisite. This is because the projects that have the big backers means they have more capital to ignite incentives program, like airdrop incentives, that in the end benefits the final user. So often you'll see the big projects with the big backers. That means usually they end up getting a token because the backers need to make their money back somehow. And it also means they have the firepower to really push incentives onto the market. So for LayerZero, even if we look through their code, we can see that there is a snippet that alludes to a potential 𝗕𝗏𝗃 token. So if there is a token, what can you do now to put yourself in the best possible position to receive an airdrop? Well, there's a few simple steps that I think you can follow to do that, and that is basically via leveraging the already existing LayerZero ecosystem. So there are 4 steps in front of you that could be requirements for an airdrop. Now, I just want to say quickly, in this video, I'm going to be giving steps to receive an airdrop. It doesn't mean you're guaranteed one, right? The thing about airdrop hunting is that it requires a lot of persistence and also some luck. So just by following the steps outlined, it doesn't mean you will receive an airdrop. It just means that you're doing something to put yourself in a better position to receive an airdrop than others. I don't know the requirements. As airdrop hunters, we just have to guess what may be required. With the Arbitrum network, we managed to guess successfully, but there's other airdrops in the past that I've gone for and I haven't gotten because I misjudged the requirements or they didn't end up doing an airdrop. So this video is just a guide for you to use as a framework, but of course you have to look deeper into these ecosystems and work out whether you think it's an airdrop that you want to go for, because at the end of the day, you have to go for the airdrops that you enjoy going for, or it's going to be difficult to adhere to a long-term strategy. So for LayerZero, I think using Stargate is going to be one of the requirements. So that means making a cross-chain swap using the Stargate bridge, staking Stargate, which means staking Stargate tokens to become a governance staker, and voting in a DAO proposal. I think that could be step number 2. Step number 3, you want to use the LayerZero bridge on testnet. That basically means bridging funds between LayerZero and another network using their native bridge. And then step number 4, you can use LayerZero to bridge between Ethereum and Aptos. So they have an Aptos bridge that you can leverage to also put yourself in a position to get an airdrop. There's a very good thread, and I'll link all the resources for the video in a thread below in the description that outlines some of the key steps that could be required to get a LayerZero airdrop. I recommend reading it. It basically outlines steps from bridging funds across multiple networks, utilizing dApps in the ecosystem, etc. Basically, with these airdrops, the best way to get them is to genuinely use the ecosystem, and usually that just means using what is available and what is in front of you. And for a lot of these ecosystems, they're not very well developed, so all we can really do is use bridges and test nets to hopefully put ourselves in a good position. And of course, as more products roll out, like mainnet and new dApps, then using them can put us in an even better position to receive an airdrop. That's why I'm in the Discords for a lot of these projects, so I can stay up to date with the latest advancements and products, so I can continuously upgrade my airdrop farming strategy. Before I get into airdrop number 2 that I am looking forward to, I want to quickly remind you that we are conducting a massive giveaway over on OKX. Over the next 2 months, we are going to be working towards giving away a Tesla on OKX, and in the build up to that giveaway, we're also giving away an iPhone 14, an Apple MacBook Pro, 2 tickets to go see a Manchester City game, a 7 nights holiday in the Maldives, and then of course at the end, we are giving away a Tesla Model 3, which is valued up to $43,000 US. So huge prizes, and all you have to do to put yourself in a position to receive these prizes, as we'll be doing one giveaway every 2 weeks, is use an OKX account using the link in the description to sign up and trade. For every $10,000 of cumulative trading volume that you accrue, you will receive 5 raffle tickets. So the more you trade, the more raffle tickets you will earn, and as a result, the higher chance you'll have of winning these prizes in front of you, like the iPhone, the MacBook Pro, and of course at the end, the Tesla. So make sure you stay active and you keep watching the shows, because every 2 weeks, we're going to be giving away one of these prizes following this chart here. You have to use the link in the description if you want an entry into this raffle, and then of course, the more you trade, the more you can earn. So good luck everyone that is participating, and I hope one of you wins the Tesla. Airdrop number 2 that I think could be the next Arbitrum is zkSync. Now, this one is no secret at this point, because a lot of crypto Twitter is already anticipating the zkSync airdrop to be the next Arbitrum, as zkSync just launched their mainnet the day after Arbitrum conducted their airdrop. So zkSync, very hyped project, very hyped token, almost guaranteed to have an airdrop. Obviously means it's going to be a little bit more competitive, but I still think it's one worth going for, purely because the ecosystem is like fairly fun to use. It's not as fun as Arbitrum was, but it is at the same time a lot newer, so there's not as many dApps over there. But with the launch of the mainnet, there is going to be a lot more applications and a lot more activity happening over on zkSync. So what is zkSync first and foremost? Well, it's essentially a ZK rollup. They have a ZK EVM product, which will enable you to use zkSync on your MetaMask just like you'd use another L2. And essentially it is built to alleviate congestion of the Ethereum network via using ZK rollup technology to make a very fast and a very scalable network. ZK technology, in my opinion, is extremely transformative, and it is one of the greatest revolutions we've seen in the crypto space over the last couple of years. So as these ZK projects continue to launch, it is something I've got a close eye on, and there is also another one in today's video that I'll be talking about. But zkSync being the main one, being one of the most highly valued ZK products, it's definitely an airdrop that I'm going for. And if you want to go for it as well, these are some of the steps that I would follow. So obviously with the Era mainnet launching on the weekend, this is going to be what you want to use to put yourself in a position to get an airdrop. If you go onto zkSync's official website, which is bridge.zk.io, you can now bridge funds over from Ethereum onto the ZK Era mainnet. And then once you have funds on the mainnet, you can start using applications in order to bolster your chances of receiving an airdrop. If you go onto ecosystem.zksync.io, you will see a dashboard of the entire zkSync ecosystem. This is going to show you which applications are on the network and give you an idea as to what sort of stuff you could interact with. Now, just be careful when you are using DeFi. Of course, I haven't vetted every single one of these applications, and some of them could be rugs, some of them could have issues, some of them could have exploitation risk. So before you use anything, make sure you do your own research and don't deposit money into anything that you don't fully trust. The other point I want to make is any money you're using for airdrop farming should be disposable. So you should be willing to technically lose it, because it is a risky activity using DeFi and it's not for everyone. Don't use money that you can't afford to lose. So one of the applications that I see a lot of people using, and I personally use myself, is the 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 website. This is essentially the biggest DEX in the zkSync ecosystem. So I think by making some swaps, providing some liquidity, that could get your initial transactions up a little bit. The next thing I would do is use zkSync Lite. So to do this, go to orbiter.finance and bridge some funds across to the Lite network. That is essentially the V1 network of zkSync, because it could also be a requirement alongside the mainnet. So I would do the same thing for the mainnet over on ZK Lite, look at protocols that are on the network, interact with protocols. And at the end of the day, the more interacting you do on this network, the more bridging you do, the higher chance you have of getting an airdrop. With these airdrops, you don't need to overcomplicate it. From zkSync's perspective, all they want you to do is use their network. They just want you to use their product. Interact with as many products as possible, do it regularly. So maybe every single week, set a time where you interact with the network, bridge funds across, just have fun, degen on chain, do it with an amount of capital you're willing to lose, and just learn. I think the greatest thing about DeFi is you learn so much through practically doing. A lot of people get caught up umming and ahhing about whether they should do something or not. Just do it, just have fun, just interact with DeFi, enjoy the process, be willing to lose money, be willing to make money, and just enjoy it, just degen. That's essentially my number one advice for airdrop farmers, because it kind of stresses a lot of people out. Like, wow, there's so many steps, it's so overwhelming. What do I do? For me, it's just about having fun, using applications I like, and then at the end of the day, getting a reward for them, hopefully. That's like what I did with Arbitrum. I just used applications I liked, like G-Trade, and I received a nice airdrop after it was said and done. The third airdrop that I'm looking forward to is Scroll. Like zkSync, Scroll is a ZK EVM-based ZK rollup on Ethereum that enables native compatibility for existing Ethereum applications and tools. We can see that Scroll has raised capital from some of the biggest crypto VCs in the space, like Polychain Capital, Sequoia Capital, Bain Crypto, Variant, etc., and have raised over $80 million at a valuation of $1.8 billion. Remember what I said before about tokens that have a lot of financial backing being a prerequisite for airdrops? Well, Scroll certainly does tick this box, and it does have quite a high valuation. So this is a product I'm looking forward to, and also a project that I'm going for in terms of getting an airdrop. So how can you get an airdrop? Well, right now, the steps are actually quite simple. The first thing I would do is I would bridge 𝗕𝗘𝗕𝗏 testnet ETH to the Scroll testnet using the Scroll bridge. It's scroll.io/alpha/bridge. Once again, all the resources will be in a thread in the link in the description, and simply just bridge ETH across. That would be the first thing I'd do. The second thing I would do is swap tokens and add liquidity to Scroll testnet using Uniswap. So if you go into uniswap-v3.scroll.io, you can add liquidity on the testnet. Now, if you use a testnet, remember, it's not real Ethereum. So you're essentially just playing here and interacting with the ecosystem. Projects often prefer mainnet interactions when they launch over testnet because they want real liquidity. So I would still keep my eye out for the Scroll mainnet and start trading on that when it launches. But using the testnet will put yourself in a slightly more advanced position, because when they do the airdrop snapshot, they could say, okay, we'll give 10% extra to people that use testnet because they've been using the network longer than others. So they may tend to award that in the end. They may not necessarily, but since the mainnet isn't out right now, the testnet is definitely a great place to start. The third thing you can do is deploy a smart contract on Scroll. A little bit more difficult, but to be honest, ChatGPT can write you smart contracts now. So have a look into how to deploy a smart contract on Scroll. That could be one way to put yourself in a position to receive an airdrop. And as I said, with AI, it's easier now to deploy smart contracts. It can be a crappy one, but as long as you've deployed something, it might just tick off that extra little box of activity on the network. And that's always good when it comes to qualifying for airdrops. Remember, airdrops are always about more. The more you do, the higher chance you have of getting an airdrop. So anything that you can possibly do, I'd say just do it within reason, of course, and under your discretion, because it'll put yourself in a better position. So Scroll is another one that I'm going for, and it's also a project I'm pretty excited about. We saw it just reach a $1.8 billion valuation, which is nuts. The ZK revolution is here, apparently. If you missed the Aptos airdrop, then you may have a second chance via Sui, which is essentially a close relative to Aptos, both deriving from the Move programming language. Now, Sui is a network that's been on my radar for a while, and there are a few things that you can do now to put yourself in a better position to receive a Sui airdrop. Like the other projects in this list, Sui has big backing, raising over $336 million from investors like Coinbase, A16Z, FTX, Binance, Jump, Lightspeed, Circle. Basically, all the big VCs are in on Sui, and a lot of people view it as the next Aptos. And some people even say, including myself, that it probably is the better Aptos, and they've taken a much slower and more measured approach to launching, which I think is a good thing, and gives us an opportunity in the meantime to potentially get an airdrop. So the Sui airdrop is probably one of the easier ones to start qualifying for. Once again, there's not that much to do without mainnet being launched. Mainly just using testnet is the prerequisite. If you look back on the requirements for the Aptos airdrop, that was given away to people that simply just signed up for the testnet using their email, which is pretty crazy. So there wasn't actually that many requirements then. I think for the Sui one, there'll be slightly more just because there's a lot more hype and buzz behind airdrops now because of how big the other ones were. So some of the things you can do are: 1, create a Sui wallet on their website; 2, request tokens from the Sui Discord. That is the only place, by the way, you can receive testnet tokens to use on the Sui network. 3, create a Sui NFT on testnet. 4, swap tokens on Sui testnet using the 𝗵𝗡𝗍𝗃 exchange. 5, mint a Sui name on testnet. So Sui-names is a website that allows you to create a Sui name. It might cost a bit of money, but it could be a requirement. So if you want to spend the money, then it could be worth it. 6, interact with the 𝗕𝗍𝗄𝗃 dApp on testnet, and basically just use as many dApps as possible on testnet. There may be more dApps launching over the next few weeks, so I recommend joining the Sui Discord. It's going to give you more of a purview as to what people are doing to receive the airdrop. They've been quite adamant for quite some time that there won't be an airdrop. They keep saying no airdrop, but I'm calling their bluff because a lot of projects that have said no airdrop have actually ended up doing an airdrop. So I just think there's so many benefits to them airdropping tokens. They get to generate hype for the ecosystem. They get to generate more transaction volume and attract more users to the ecosystem. So it's basically a net positive for them, and they have big backers. I know they can afford to do it. So I think they still will, despite a lot of people saying that they won't. One of the reasons they're probably saying that they aren't doing one is just to stop a lot of the scams going around, because there's a lot of scams on Twitter and Discord for fake Sui airdrops that essentially drain people's wallets. So I think as a way to discourage that, they're saying no airdrop. But I am calling their bluff there. I'm still doing things in the Sui ecosystem to put myself in a position to get an airdrop. Maybe they won't do one in the end, but I mean, it doesn't take me that much time, effort, or money to complete these requirements. So I may as well complete them and potentially get an airdrop if they launch. If it's anywhere near the size of Aptos, I will be very, very happy. The last airdrop, number 5, but certainly not least, is StarkNet. StarkNet is a zk solution built by Starkware. They invented zkStarks, which are scalable and transparent cryptographic proofs that use lightweight hash functions to trustlessly verify computational integrity. Wow, that's a mouthful, but basically what it means is they are much better than other types of zk products. We can see here that zkStarks have distinct advantages over zkSnarks, which are another type of zk offering, and essentially they give you advantages in the scalability realm, as well as resistance to attacks from quantum computers, and also allow you to build trustworthy, verifiable computing systems. So what StarkNet has built, in my opinion, is extremely impressive, and I am very excited for a potential StarkNet token. They, of course, have a lot of big backers, raising over $282.5 million at a multi-billion-dollar valuation. So how can you put yourself in a position to receive a StarkNet airdrop? These are some of the tasks that you can complete. The first thing you want to do is use the ecosystem. This involves interacting with the StarkNet bridge, interacting with dApps on StarkNet, and voting on some of the dApps that are related to StarkNet, for example, Stargate. The second thing you can do is delegate on Stargate to be eligible for future rewards. So essentially, if you go to the Stargate snapshot dashboard, once again, all the links are in the description underneath my thread, you will be able to delegate on StarkNet and become a governance voter. The third thing I would do is start to get involved with the testnets, which means using the applications on the StarkNet testnet before mainnet launches. All the necessary resources are in the description if you need them, but StarkNet is definitely one that I'm looking at getting involved in. If you're doing any of these airdrop requirements, there is one thing that I need you to do, and that is please use a VPN, because you're going to be interacting with many unknown dApps and applications online using your MetaMask wallet online. You must keep your IP protected. Now, do yourself a favor and go out there and get any VPN. I don't necessarily care if you use my link or not, but for those that do want to get one, I do have a link in the description for NordVPN, which will give you a 61% discount, as well as a 30-day money-back guarantee in case you don't like it. So once again, do yourself a favor, go out there and get yourself a VPN. If you do want to support the channel and use my link, then there is a link in the description for a discount. It is important to keep yourself protected, especially when using all of these applications. And of course, remember, don't use money that you can't afford to lose, and stay safe out there in the DeFi world. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, smash a like button, click that subscribe button, and turn on post notifications so you're notified next time we upload a video. In a couple days time, I'll be releasing part 2 to this video, which goes through another 5 crypto airdrops that I'm looking forward to. So until then, I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.